Hello, folks. Hello, folks.
Check, check. 5-4, 5-4. Sounds okay? Sounds.
Read the script for us.
Yeah.
Right. I'll mute you here.
We're on. Okay, folks, come and take a seat. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, let's make it interactive. I'm Jo Curtis, and I'm a member of the club, and I haven't been here for such a long time. I'm looking at faces and thinking, what's your name again? So it's good to be here to see you all again. Tonight's program, let's get underway. But before we do, I think I haven't turned my phone off either. Please turn your phone off. Welcome to you members and the members online tonight. Good on you being here. Are there any guests here with us tonight? And visitors. So we all know the program. We're going to have a togetherness here. We'll head out if there is an emergency, that door to the roadway. Otherwise, we'll stay nice and warm in here. And actually up here, it's really warm. Up here, it's even warmer. So do you all feel warm and cozy? Yeah, good. So let me just outline tonight. CPS MDC is going to be shown. That is teenager. We're good to go. Where's John? Good to go with that? You're all underway? The open print, number 3, we've had the judge, Marie Bilodeau, LPSNZ. She has made comment on these lovely 25 images up here. And we've got Heidi stepping in as reader tonight. Thank you very much for that, Heidi. Now, Diane, are you happy to introduce the judge shortly? Great, thank you. Good. So just to go back over our last field trip, the Fiordland trip, I'm sure we'll hear a bit about that and perhaps see an AV at some point when we've got a few photos together from there. The next one that's coming up is the Aoraki Mount Cook, 29th of July to the 31st of July. And if you're interested, did I see Mike somewhere? Yeah, people still able to register for that? Yeah. So if you want to, read about it on the website, and if you're inclined to head down there to some of this beautiful snow and these vistas that are being created at the moment, have a look at the website and just follow the instructions. Competition promotions for the rest of New Zealand. Some of us are keen to do that, and if you are a new member and you don't know about this, there is a parent body called PSNZ, the Photographic Society of New Zealand, and affiliated clubs put together competitions, just like CPS does the landscape salon for the year. Other clubs put these other competitions together, and there's a creative focus competition at the moment that closes on the 3rd of July. So if you're into that, you've probably already got all your images ready for that. The National PJ competition, or photojournalism competition, that closes on the 31st of July. That's run by the New Brighton Club. And the National Triptych is run by the Nelson Club, and that opens on the 1st of August, closes on the 31st of August, so you've got a month to put those ones in. I do know that triptychs take a little more time to organise, so if you're interested in those, have a look at their websites with the club, or you can find them through the PSNZ website and start doing some organising of for those ones. Now, so tonight we're going to introduce, first of all, MDC, and then I'll come back, and then Diane, you can introduce the program. And after that, we'll just have a few wind-up notices and a good night. So here we go with the MDC to start with. Are you good to go, Ian? That's great. I'll just pass this over to John. Yes, well done, Jonathan. Are you here? Well done.
Give me a wee number between 1 and 7, please.
6.
6. 6 is a popular column, actually. And between 1 and 30.
25.
The end. The end.
The end. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, so that's next month. This month is success, isn't it? Next month is the end. That's right, it does. Success, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, John. Congratulations again, Jonathan. So now I'm going to introduce Diane, who's going to introduce the judge. Here you are.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Just got a very short bio from our judge, Marie Bilodeau. She's from, says, I'm from Canada. Arriving in New Zealand in 1997. I have been a judge at club level for about 15 years and for PSNZ for about 4 or 5 years. I love all facets and subjects of photography, but find myself gravitating to birds. Living on the, let's see if I can get this right, Tauranga Harbour, is that correct? Makes this an obvious and easy choice. So I'll just hand you over to Heidi now for the critique, and we'll enjoy the prints tonight. There's 25 entries, an acceptance rate of 40% tonight. So do I normally read out acceptances? Yeah, there was 3 acceptances, 3 high acceptance, 3 honours, and 1 best in show.
Test, test. Ray of Hope, score 1. The photographer has captured quite a few stories in this image. The majestic mountains, ray of awesome light, along with the quaint residential area. Choose one point of focus and include only elements that help tell the story, perhaps focusing on the mountains and rays of light. Experiment with this and see what you come up with. Score 1, Spring Bloom. The light and airy flowers are very delicate, with a very pretty colour palette. The centre bloom seems too heavy compared to the rest of the image. If you have focused on a flower similar to the others, this image would have been more successful, in my opinion. Score 1, Vine Lines. This was a very cool idea. The row of vines give us rhythm and conformity. It is important to choose your focal point carefully, possibly where the vines converge. To simplify the image, I would suggest cropping down from the top to the first dip in the vines. Well seen. Score 1, iris with water drops. I can almost feel the weight of the raindrops on the iris's delicate petals. The pastel colours look great against the black background. Much of the whites are overexposed and some areas are burnt out, showing no detail. Adjusting the exposure sliders could possibly help this. The central composition works well to show off the iris. Score 1, early Otago Villa. The villa looks like it hasn't had visitors in a while. It has a very lonely, haunting feel. A shallow depth of field rendered the foreground sharp. The building and trees appear soft. There seems to be some coloured artifacts in the image. I can't determine if it's from post-production or printing. Looks like a great place to revisit. Score 1, just a weed. The vibrant colours in this image pop against the blurred background. A great depth of field would result in a sharper image. Watch your exposure. Some of the whites are burnt out. The composition is very good. Score 2, come fly with me. This image is very graphic. To add a bit of tension, I would suggest waiting till the propeller is not directly on the center point. There is some blue fringing on top of the plane that looks a bit peculiar in my opinion. I feel a black mat would make the colors really stand out. And just a reminder, what we're seeing tonight can be quite different from what is printed, so my advice is to go and have another look at the prints when you've heard the judging on your prints, yeah. Just throwing something in. Score 2, the remains of the ship Janie Seddon. The Janie Seddon looks like she's been on many voyages. Her central placement works well. The image as a whole is very soft. I crave to see more detail in the vessel's texture, the birds and the background. Try using a narrower depth of field next time. Score 2, and a wood pigeon in a cabbage tree. The courier seems to be straining his neck to see what lies beyond the grasses. His eye is vibrant and sharp. I would have liked to see more detail in his feathers, particularly around his face. A narrower depth of field might have helped this. I noticed some haloing on the bird's head. This can be remedied in post-production. The square crop works well. Edge of the fjord. The forest highlights the colourful shoreline. To enable the viewer to see the point of focus, experiment with different compositions. Bringing the shoreline up a third would result in strengthening the image. Darkening the trees and adding contrast would also help. I could see how the interesting colours would have attracted you to the scene. Score 2, Avalanche Creek Waterfalls. A nice leading line follows the falls from the top to the bottom, framed well by the green forest. A slow shutter speed achieves smooth, silky water. Careful with your exposure. Some highlights are burnt out. Boosting the contrast and darkening the tree would make the falls stand out even more, perhaps even adding a dark vignette. Vignette. Score 2, Autumn Colour, Keelan's Pond. Bright colours of yellow, orange, red and green are highlighted around the Keelan's Pond. The white tree trunk makes a good focus point. I would have loved to see more of the reflection. Having the horizon on the third would achieve this and would have made a stronger composition. Score 2, the Serenity. This looks like a very peaceful place to relax and enjoy. The image works well as a monochrome. I notice haloing on the railing. This would be eliminated in post-production. I also think there's a pink cast throughout the image. I love the repetition of vertical and horizontal lines. Score 2, 30s Dame. This young lady looks very confident and comfortable in front of the camera. She engages with the photographer well. In my opinion, the image would be stronger if it were cropped in at her right shoulder and right above her head. This would eliminate the eye-catching white pampas and the bright orange over her hair. Those items draw my eye away from the lovely model. This is a great reenactment of someone living in the 1930s. Score 2, Birds of a Feather. Photographing a silhouette of 3 birds in flight is a good capture. A strong diagonal line leads us through the image. For a stronger image, I suggest leaving a little more room for the first bird to fly into. Also, some added interest, such as clouds or treetops, would give us a sense of size and perspective. Score 3, Swirl Light. The swirl of light pops out of the dark black background. I could see this image printed large, sitting in an office reception room. Nice graphic image. Score 3, Final Moorings. The silky smooth water makes this an ideal resting place for this old timer. Opening up the shadows a bit would reveal some of the valuable hidden details. The moody sky enhances the image. The composition is great. Into the Woods, Score 3. Trees give way to a mysterious path in the woods. Great texture throughout the image. My eye goes from the bright tree trunks to the pathway. There could be 2 images here. The story would have been stronger if the light trees were darkened and the path was the focal point. Nice image. Score 4, The Survivor. We can almost feel the determination in this young man's face, particularly the eyes. His expression says it all. There's a lot of emotion here. Love the texture in his clothing. Well taken. Rural West Coast. Score 4. I feel I would like to explore this rural countryside. It's so inviting. Great details with the cows in the pasture, the hillside and mountain tops, partially hidden by the clouds. Looks like a great place to visit. Score 4, Bumper Harvest. Just looking at the zillion cobs of corn, we can almost feel the arduous task this lady has in front of her. Her placement in the frame is perfect. Great example of an environmental portraiture. Score 5, In the Light. This is the epitome of a still life image. The lighting is lovely. The colours and subject are charmingly subdued. Beautiful. Are you getting enough time to see the images, everyone? Yeah, okay. Score 5, Lake Heron. There are several layers of beauty in this landscape, from the fog, mountain, land, to the reflection. You've captured it all. Score 5, Hooker Lake, Winter Sunset. The sun-kissed mountain lights up the glaciers below. It looks so majestic, both in the sky and reflection alike. Awesome landscape. Score 6, White Peony. Delicate white petals open to reveal a mass of yellow stamens. Lighting is superb, image is sharp. This is the best in show. Congratulations. So I'll hand you back to Joe. It seems like I hammered through that. So was it really quickly?
Thank you very much,
Thank
Heidi.
you.
It will be great for us when the lights are on later to have a look at the prints that are up there, and the
Absolutely.
the critique will make more sense.
Totally.
Having
And
seen it
yeah.
over there too.
And for those at home who are just listening, the revealing that it's actually prints is important. Yeah.
Okay, we have some certificates to give out.
Right, we'll start with the acceptances. Swirl Light, Annuan. Final Moorings, Janine Money. I think Janine's away, actually. Into the Woods, Alistair Phillips. Sorry, am I going too fast? Okay. Sorry, I'm going a bit fast. The Survivor, Alistair Phillips. Sorry. I should have read that. Sorry. And we've got Rural West Coast, Diana Andrews. Would you like me to come over, Diana? Save you. Keep your seat warm. Thank you very much. Okay, congratulations. Bumper Harvest by JKK. See here? No? This next one, In the Light, is mine. Lake Heron, Diana Andrews. Then we have Hooker Lake, Winter Sunset, Mike White. And then White Peony is mine. So, well, thank you. So I'll hand you back to Joe for any other information.
Thanks, Diane, and congratulations to you. Now, I guess we have a little bit of time. Let's talk about all those ones that picked up the honours and the best in show. So you'll have to hop up again and tell us a bit about that beautiful flower.
Thank you. My probably don't know, but my daughter's a wedding florist, so I can manage to snaffle off when she's finished doing what she's doing. I often get flowers thrown my way, so this was just one she gave me. It was actually not at its best. It was just starting to go off. And I've got one light I use. So I just, with a big softbox, basically, and I played around with it for a while, but I ended up just glancing the light off, right, sort of past the flower, so that I didn't blow anything out. And then the rest was with a grey background, and then I just put texture through it, and that was basically it. Yeah, so that was basically it, really. Just on my sideboard in the lounge. That's quite a simple setup. Having an experiment. I quite like doing this type of thing, so hopefully I'll be able to do some more. I'm trying to remember what I did, actually. Yeah, I think just trying to think. Sometimes I put tiles behind them. I've got a couple of big floor tiles, yeah, so just to give a bit of basic texture, and then I'll fiddle around with it afterwards. So I use floor tiles and papers and all sorts of things I just peg up, so. Yeah, I don't always put a texture in afterwards. No, I often use something there already. I've used baking trays, really burnt, battered old baking trays that you throw out. They're great. And if you're obviously not too close to the background, you don't get all the nasty detail. You just get that hint of a texture. So it takes a bit of playing around. Still learning. I think I stacked it. If I'm looking at it, yeah, I will have stacked that and done several. Put them together, probably, I don't know, maybe 4. Not a lot, just enough to get the detail. Yeah, I wanted it all sharp, yeah, but without the background being sharp. So, yeah, so I will have done probably 4 or 5, I think, on that. And that's about it. Yep. Sorry. Anybody else? Oh, and the other one, the In the Light, that was, I had a, In the Light, sorry, it was the grey, that one. Again, I bought the pot because I quite liked the texture. It's easier when you're photographing a rough texture. Anything with a glaze on, you're battling with bright lights and things, so it's actually not as satisfactory. So if you're buying something to use, something with a stony or matte texture is better. That one was again the big softbox. It's a 2x3 foot. That's all I've got on a 400 light, which I'm learning actually. I've used little flashes before, but this is the first time I've used a bigger light to create. I wanted to create the window side lighting. Again, I glanced it off at an angle. Excuse my back, Joe. It was on a table, and I just put a board on there, and then the background with a grey background completely behind it, and then the background actually is a texture of a wall that I took ages ago that I really liked, and I just felt it complemented it. And the dried flowers or seed pods are things I just collect. I quite like the texture, and I'll just hang them up in the garage and let them dry. It just feels like a crunchy look. So I don't actually know. My daughter might know, or anybody else might. I just wanted that sort of earthy, simple look. So, sorry. Yeah, I felt it was quite peaceful. I tend to be drawn to dark things for some reason. I often make things dark, and I've just determined to make it a light one. Yeah, because I still like that. I wanted it to look like it was on a concrete type of shelf with, thank you, a simple light. Right, Mike, would you like to come and talk about, no, yes? Yes? Or I'll come over to you. Hi.
Mount Cook, one of my favourite spots for stargazing. So I normally walk up the Hooker Valley track in the afternoon. The downside of that is I take all my landscape gear as well as all my astro gear, so the pack ends up weighing a ton. But it's a nice place to sit and have dinner. I think this was a night or two after the last Mount Cook field trip I'd stayed on for the week. So it's not the night that we went up as a group. I was up a couple of nights later. Unfortunately, the cloud behind Araki got in the way, but I got this nice shot as the afterglow was illuminating the top of the mountain. Technical stuff, it'd be on a tripod set fairly low, positioned so the reflections in the clear patch of water, with the summit not obscured by any of the ice. F11 focused up on the icebergs in the midground. ISO 100 and whatever the shutter speed was, to give me that exposure. Yeah, that's about it.
Anybody else want to? Sorry? Sorry, I keep turning this thing off, fiddling around with it. Don't know if there's anybody else like to talk about their image at all? Alistair or Diana? Yes, I apologise, Diana, sorry.
This was taken probably about 6 years ago when the weather was conducive, and in the evening in the bottom of Lake Heron, and the sun caught the hill just when I wanted it to, and so it was a usual F11 on the tripod, manual.
Thank you. That's beautiful. You can feel the warmth. Right. Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, you had two up, didn't you, Dan? You don't want to, sorry? No? Oh, the printing side with the papers and things. Yeah, that one, the White Peony as a new paper that's come out, gold fibre, I think it's Ilford gold fibre rag. It's got a bit of reflection to it, probably a bit more than I would normally like, but I was just trying it to see. But I think with it being a white flower, you need to have a little bit of a pop. So I think it's actually enhanced the print, having that little bit of reflection, because sometimes the matte ones just suck a bit of the life out of it. So I was just trying that. I think I actually quite like it, so I might use that again. The other one is just a smooth cotton rag, again, which is one of my favourite type of papers, and that's one of the ones I would use quite a lot, the smooth cotton rag. I think that's also an Ilford paper. So, but they're the ones I'm using at the moment, so. Not at the moment, having a few issues with my printer. No, I got someone else to do those for me. Yeah, someone that understands printing. I'm still learning it. It's just it's just always something that goes wrong. So I have more misses than hits. So and then I've sort of running out of ink now, and I think it's going to be quite costly to to get the new one. So I don't know whether I'm actually ever going to get to grips with it. Anybody else like a few words? Alistair? Would you like to chat about, because that very interesting.
Taken on Stewart Island on the Rakiura track. I was trying to get the name of the native on the left, on the native tree, because they look like birch, and I thought, well, if I entered in a natural history or a Laurie Thomas, then I think they like prefer sort of natural native type things, don't they? But rather than exotics. But so yeah, it's taken on the Rakiura track, colour, and I just post-processing, turn it black and white, and yeah, it came up really well in the processing, post-processing. Well, I don't think that's I don't think that's as good as what it looks on the print, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, I did lighten the track up in post-processing, so your eye's drawn down the track, and by the same token, I didn't take any of the brightness from the bark of the trees, because I thought they looked really amazing. Yeah, I thought, well, I flipped it actually. I flipped the image, so the trees were on the left-hand side, so your eye would be drawn to those first, and then hopefully it would follow the track into the distance and out the back. That was the thoughts there. Yeah. I don't do my post-processing. I leave it. Printing, sorry. No. This was taken in near a town called Jaisalmer, which is about as far west as you can get in India before you get to the Pakistani border. So I was doing my usual walkabout in the desert, and I come across these kids playing and amongst the acacias and the sand, and yeah, got a couple of shots of them, and this character, even though it was like probably about 50 degrees, he was in these woolies, and yeah, so that was yeah, a colour image. I turned in black and white, but then I tried sepia and came up with that. And I thought sepia looked much better than the black and white. Yeah, I thought it was a good texture. Didn't look half as good in colour. Yep, thanks.
Really catches the whites of his eyes, doesn't it? Right, well, thank you very much for a few explanations, and again, you've given us a few details that we might like to pick up on. So it's always great to hear the judge's critique, which we can all pick up something from each of the comments for when we do any printing. And she even mentioned something about the colour of the mat around as the border, and that's important too. Yeah, just to make that image pop. So thank you for that. Now we've got a few other. No, stay there. Sorry, that's all right. Just in conclusion tonight, we have got things coming up with CPS next closing dates. So I'll just give you a few extra notices and then some thanks, and then I guess we'll be homeward bound. So the 30th of June, MDC is success. John mentioned that earlier. So make sure you've got those in. You haven't got much time to go with that. The images must be taken this month. And what's the next one? The end is for August, is that right? Oh, July. Right, yes. I'm a month ahead of myself. Okay, the 6th of July is the natural history print, and that is due 6th of July. Again, with prints, you've got to have a bit of a lead-up time because they take a wee while to get organised. So give yourself time to get those, and the maximum images that you can print and have on display up here is 3 for that one. And then the 20th of July, we have got an open PJ. That is that right? No, it's a digital. Number 7 is actually it's not completely open. It's open to portraiture, so it's a portrait one. The next PI. So I just saw on the website today that the 7 o'clock program for next week is not, is to be advised. Is that still right? Still to be advised, okay. And then the 8 o'clock session, the Laurie Thomas landscape results. And so you'll all want to be here. You guys at home will want to be here too for that one. Ah, so that's why it's to be advised. Well, let's advise that there's nothing at 7. Yeah, yes, we've been advised. Okay. Yes, just 1 minute. Who's doing the supper? After. Yeah, afterwards. Yes, it's one of the highlights of the year, isn't it? The Laurie Thomas. Yeah. So John, all of that's all in place, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah. Good. Well, we'll be able to thank you all, the small group of people who put that together tirelessly every year. It's a wonderful exhibition when it comes to us, and that's next week. So be here at 8 next week to see that. So for tonight's presentations, Kelvin Ed, thanks for opening up. Alan and JK for meet and greet. We've got Andrew and Gordon on sound and lights, thank you. And Ian on projection, thank you very much. And with that, I say good night. But I do say, please, it's really, there's no cloud out there and it's going to get cold, so be careful. There could be even ice on the ground or the road as we leave, so drive carefully. Good to see you all again, and I'll catch up with you in perhaps another month's time when I'm back again. Good night.